I have been living in France now for full-time for about 7 years. I've been coming on holiday here for 30 years, and I've had a holiday home in France, just a small cottage, for maybe 20 years. And over that time, I began with the ability to speak French that came from what I learned at school, which was not very much.
It never is.
So over the years, I have had to work quite hard at improving my French, which is difficult because I write, I'm now living in France, but I write in English. I work with my wife, who obviously is also an English speaker, and so we share a space together. We talk to in English to one another. So actually the amount of French, even although I am living in France, the amount of French I speak on a daily basis is quite limited. And so it didn't really improve very much over quite a long time until I was first published in France. And as soon as I became published in France, I had to go to the book salons, and I had to speak French. I had to do radio interviews and television interviews, and I had to go and speak in front of audiences of French speakers, and I had to do it all in French. And that forced me to work hard on the development of my French, which is much better now than it was. It's still not as good as I would like it to be. But I have a wide circle of French friends now, and so I spend many evenings entirely in French, and obviously when I travel to do the book salons, I spend whole weekends entirely in French, and that helps a lot. I can read in French, but it's slow and it's difficult, and I always have to have a dictionary beside me, and therefore I don't enjoy the experience the same as I do in English, where reading in English is subliminal. I'm not aware of reading. I just absorb the content of what I'm reading without being aware of the process of reading. Whereas when I read in French, I'm very aware of the process of, in a way, translating, because when I read in French, I'm translating it into English, and I know I shouldn't do that. I know I should just read the French, and I do that more when I'm speaking French, because I no longer translate when I hear somebody speaking. I just absorb what they're saying in French, but when it comes to reading, I still find myself translating. So that's something that I still have to improve on. But in terms of the Paper Planes series, it was interesting for me to realize how much of the language I use in English is very similar, because of its Latin roots, to the French language. And so in the writing of the story, I had to become much more conscious of perhaps the more Germanic or Scandinavian influences in English, and reduce that content in the writing and increase the use of Latin-based vocabulary, which would be more understandable to French readers. That was a very interesting exercise, quite challenging, and something I enjoyed very much.